Most people have no idea what's about to happen. They're not telling you this, but what I'm about to say may startle you. Now, I didn't cause this, I'm just the messenger. I'm just here to tell you what is happening. And I'm here to break through the fog of distraction and denial. Click like and subscribe for more videos. We are living through the decline of a modern empire. This is not a metaphor, it's not a theory, it is a fact. And the people in charge? They can't say it, they won't say it. Because doing so would expose the impending crises, it would also expose the risks we face. Let's look at the pattern. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Ukraine. Every one of these wars we lost, with devastating impact on the ordinary people. So is American invincibility a myth? We once won wars, World War I and II, but now we struggle, remember Saigon. No one will say it out loud, because America doesn't lose, until it does. Each of these defeats isn't just military failure. Today we are seeing a seismic shift in the balance of power. World economics is changing rapidly. Indonesia has joined BRICS. It is a country of 280 million people, bigger than most Americans realize. BRICS now includes 22 countries, and together, they hold over half of the world's population, and a third of the global economy. But the G7 share? That's now down to just 28%. This isn't just statistics, it's a tectonic shift in global power. BRICS has now 22 member countries with a population bigger than the EU or the USA. China isn't just rising, China is leading, it has become the world's factory. They build Africa's roads and railways, and have invested in African countries with critical rare earth minerals. They lead in AI and green tech. They dominate EV production. Most people have never even heard of BYD, but in 2024 they sold 4.27 million EV cars. Whereas US EV sales were 1.3 million. They're outselling Tesla, globally, who sold only 1.8 million EV cars in 2024. The US slapped a 100% tariff on Chinese cars. Why? Because it can't compete. So they limit innovation with tariffs, instead of matching it. But Chinese manufacturers can eat these tariffs and still be competitive. Another major US problem is debt. It's everywhere. Household, corporate, and of course government, and its growing burden. Zombie corporations now dominate the market. There are now firms so deep in debt, they borrow just to stay alive. Resulting in US banks carrying $400 billion of bad loans on their balance sheets. And who does the USA owe most of its debt to? It's China and Japan. So when you pay taxes, a chunk of it funds interest payments that goes to Beijing and Tokyo. In 2024, the United States paid approximately $230.6 billion in interest on its debt to foreign investors, including China. Inflation. Another big problem. It isn't a mystery, it's a decision. US Treasury debt has spiraled out of control, increasing the money supply and fueling inflation. Corporations raise prices, they never fail to exploit a good crisis, but they don't increase your wages, which have fallen behind the cost of living. They tell us it's supply chains issues. Or bird flu. Or just bad luck. It's not. It's corporate greed. And how does the government respond? They raise interest rates to control inflation and demand. Which hits you hard on your mortgage and credit cards. Grocery prices just keep rising, gas at the pump is skyrocketing, while the rich feel nothing. Decline hits the weakest first. Real wages have stagnated, and personal debt has soared. You're told to work harder, spend less, and be grateful. But this is your personal economic crisis, and it's no accident. The rich offload the burden and get richer. But everyone else pays, you're told tough, that's just economics, buddy. Now there is the Ukraine war, which was a miscalculation for the US and Europe. The US and EU put layers of sanctions on Russia, but they couldn't break Russia, as Russia just pivoted eastwards to China for help. And now they sell their oil and gas to China, India, and incredibly to the EU, who is at war with them. In 2024, the EU imported 18% of its oil and gas from Russia. This represents 25% of Russia's fossil fuel export revenues. So the sanctioned Russian economy grew faster than ours. Their GDP grew by 4.1% in 2024. But US GDP increased by just 2.8%. And EU's GDP grew only by 1.0% in 2024. Let's now consider the once mighty US dollar. There is a pending dollar crisis. It is declining in value on FX markets and as a reserve currency, and de-dollarization is also a huge challenge. Once the US dollar was 70% of global reserves. But now? It's down to about 40%. Global trade is moving to the Chinese yuan. And Chinese government has suggested to its corporate sector that trades in the yuan should rise to 40% of transactions. So China's stock of US dollar will decline, as will their appetite to buy US treasuries. Is there a political solution to this impending crisis? Biden didn't save you, but President Trump is trying to get a handle on it. The massive US trade deficit will be difficult for him to rebalance in a 4-year term. The wild card isn't who's in office. It's you, yes you. Will you sit and be a passenger in this impending economic car crash? Or will you organize? Will you prepare for the coming crash? Will you push back? Unions were dismantled. In 1983, 20.1% of American workers were union members, but by 2023 it was just 10%. But the people are alert up to the impending crisis? Amazon staff are marching for better wages, job security and benefits. Employees have founded the Amazon Labor Union. Starbucks workers are striking over the chain's new dress code, but their patience with management has run out. Independent journalists are writing and telling this story. A new kind of resistance is emerging. The old empire is falling. You can deny it at your peril, or you can prepare. Are you ready? Because if you fail to prepare, you should prepare to fail. The future will be decided without you. So stay sharp. Stay awake, don't sleepwalk into this economic crash. So now you know what's about to happen, be prepared. Subscribe for weekly coming briefings on geopolitics, markets, and global strategy.